external sponsor, which is these drinks. Hey, so we've been paying for drinks before, but thank you. Yeah, yeah, and honestly, it feels cool because we also decided to now build GP Tuesday in public. So not only for the members here that are following our journey, but for everybody. Mukadas is going to be actually doing that, blog on her personal page about like how she's building GP Tuesday on her GP Tuesday pages as well, right? So it's a new trend, right, to build companies and products in public. So that's what we're going to do, right? We plan to potentially do a newsletter, right, on AI, like curating the best of AI, not really creating any more new content, but curating it, because I think there's so much content out there, but curating the best one is going to be interesting. Maybe a podcast. So like we're going toward media as well, right, this year. We're planning to establish a group of founding members. We'll be announcing that soon and inviting some of the OGs here who've started out with us and contributed the most to the community. And speaking of community, if you're not part of the official community, I see some new faces here. Please do scan this QR code right here on the right to join our Telegram group and stay in touch with not just people who are attending today, but with folks who attended previously and those who will be attending in the future. That's our goal, right? So we're not just doing this offline, but online as well. And on the left, that QR code is for those who sneaked in without a ticket, right? No, but for the OGs who've spoken, we give like complimentary tickets to the speakers, to previous speakers. So if you're a speaker, you'll get a lifetime free ticket to GP Tuesday. So, and we recruit speakers from the audience, by the way. If you're a speaker, if you want to talk about AI, do talk to Mukadas, and we'll arrange something for you, and you'll get a lifetime, right? So we encourage public speaking here also. But if you haven't got your ticket, please scan that QR code on the left and grab your ticket. It's only $5. We'll be raising our price to 10 next week, because it's about time to cover some of our costs. But other than that, thanks to our sponsors, and I would like to present our speaker today, Jacopo, who's been also for a pretty long time a member, right? When was the first time you came in?
I think the second event I was here, maybe
right.
like in July.
Oh,
July,
wow,
maybe. Yeah.
way back.
Yeah,
wow,
yeah.
So cool. You're one of the OG founding members almost. Right? So cool. Yeah. Well, Jacopo will be speaking about his really cool project, right? Yeah. So the stage is yours, Jacopo.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm.
Give him a round of applause. Thank you.
Thank you. So it's gonna since I've been here 3 times, and every single time that I've been here, I've learned a lot about technical things.
Let me connect you.
And and I feel like that I don't know, my dog knows more about technical stuff than I do, and so I was like, how can I contribute about this AI space, and how can I share something that we can discuss about all together? And I was thinking about, since I'm very nerdy about business strategy, marketing, and all this stuff, I wanted to first of all talk about how I see and how I believe AI is going to impact business and business strategy going forward, and also what are the considerations that you have to take care of before starting building your product, and also talking about what and how I am approaching this issue with my own company, which is in social media technology. Then I will share something about it at the end of the speech, I would say.
I'll put you right back on in a second. Technical issues.
So are you all building something with AI, or sort of? Planning on it. Makes sense. Yeah. And okay, I don't
the screen mirroring. Is that possible with the Apple?
I don't know if this has Apple TV. Will it? Yeah, I'll try this in a second. And I learned there's a new bug every time with this TV. We debugged the old one last time, and there's a new one this time. So very developer-y. But here. Okay. Show us. Here we go. Okay.
Okay. Okay. So the very first thing is that I wanted to kind of focus on, even before starting like anything about AI, is that what are the best AI use cases that I see to establish like business competitive advantage? Because I don't want to make the same mistake that I made with Web3, blockchain, crypto, where there was all the hype, you know, and everyone was rushing like, buy NFTs, you know, you miss out on the community. I'm like, man, I bought NFTs, made big mistakes, nobody cares, I lost my money, and here we go. And so like, I wanted to, this time, like approach this hype, I would say, in a completely different way by developing like an original thought about it, instead of like following what people like are talking about it. So to do that, I started to dig pretty much into the data and into like the landscape overall, to then develop some theoretical assumption that you know, I can drive, you know, my principles when understanding of building something or not. So I start with very much a report here that is from Deloitte, which states how companies are approaching AI right now in pretty much like all the US. And the very interesting data for me here is that the more expert you are on something, the more you tend to use AI in any field. And this is interesting to me because what I believe is that if you leverage AI and if you keep leveraging it and you are very high expert in your domain job, I think it means that people with higher expertise can leverage AI better, which is completely like at the opposite of AI will steal my job kind of thinking, you know. And these are like data that are from October 2023, which are pretty, recent, I would say. And other data that are still interesting for me, these are all like from, by the way, McKinsey, Deloitte, normal like companies, I would say. And so this thing here is the most interesting to me. While all of us are here to learn about AI, think about how can we leverage it, how can we build stuff with it, the vast majority of Americans and people worldwide don't even know or just tried once AI products. Which to me is kind of crazy because I cannot think about how can you miss out on AI or understanding the technology, but I guess it's a major opportunity for all of us that are here to understand how to like build products and stuff, and also like the applications of these AIs, which by the way are different. There are neural networks, as you know better than me, so I'm not I don't go into the technical stuff. If I go, please stop me. The most interesting thing is that most of the AIs that are being used today are either for productivity uses or for like B2C or for company use. This data, like the fact that 60% almost like of enterprises use AI, it's kind of weird to me because of all the security and privacy concerns that we have with open AIs and all these kind of like open source LLMs. And it's even more interesting when you think about the fact that, I don't know, it's maybe me, but I hear all the time, hey, I'm not building an AI with my own company because I'm afraid that someone will steal my data. I'm afraid of copyright issues. Yet, 60% of enterprises, of use cases of AI come from enterprise platforms. Now, because of the stuff that I told you before, so the fact that I lost my money with Web3, with NFTs, with blockchain, because I tried some stuff over there, and I realized that I wasn't really passionate about it, and so that's maybe why. But also, like, I think that I made this mistake. So this is a quote from George Santayana. I'm sorry for the pronunciation, which is like one of the most influential thinkers apparently of the US, which says, those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it. And for me, like, it's crucial because we can really think about one big event that changed the whole world, which is like the dot-com bubble. And I think that we should first of all understand what happened there, to then somehow extrapolate some insights that we can use to build our own stuff. Even before like thinking about the technology, oh, I'm building on Notion, I'm building on there, I'm using LangChain. Yes, this is important, but first of all, understand why you're doing it and like literally how you should approach it. So here I just reported like, and please stop me anytime. I don't want to have a solo talk, to be honest. So like, if you want to say something and you disagree, I'm even happier. Okay? So here are some winners and some losers that I just listed to have a glimpse of, yeah, basically like the companies that won and lost in this bubble. And yeah, I don't go through the whole list because it's there and it's pretty boring. But where I go is literally like in this slide, which are some takeaways that I got from the companies that won and the companies that lost during that time. And so the very first thing that I think the companies that won have been amazing at is that they created and exploited a sense of urgency for like their product, making like it feel like indispensable. If I think about Amazon, for example, like the first time, I was a baby because I am 28. But anyway, studying store and stuff, I can tell that Amazon was very great into like making the customer feel like they needed that stuff immediately. And they deliver on that very well. Even like up to today, you can buy something on Amazon by just clicking 2 times. Then they all, and this is another part that is crucial, when you build a product, like if the products naturally encourage users to invite others, meaning that is like one of the very earliest signs of product market fit, which it means that your product is getting traction and that you are onto something. And so like, even here, Facebook, if I think about Facebook, this is a really interesting one because of course, I'm in social media, I'm very nerdy about that. I don't think any other Facebook can appear right now. Not at least with this strategy. Because they went from college to college, exploiting like the FOMO and some of like exclusivity needs that humans have. But the need there was aspirational, was like connection. Human connection was the primary need that they leveraged to build Facebook. And the very, I think like genius way to approach it was that Facebook incentivized literally immediately to let other people join the platform because it said to these users, hey, if you join if you invite your friend, the product is gonna be better. And which is actually true because if my friends are not on Facebook, I don't go on Facebook. It's like as simple as that. And so like I think that the combination of like FOMO plus invite your friends because the product becomes better is what made, among other things, I'm not oversimplifying, Facebook like winning in the .com. Then also like this is another one, which is like becoming unavoidable, which I think it's something that OpenAI is doing right now. If I have to think about Google, the way they approached it is like they went really fast onto like building this search engine, and then through venture capital money, of course, they speed up the market very quickly, and they monopolized everything, but they became unavoidable for like future products and use cases that we all know. And this is another factor. And this one is actually where I see, and these are all my personal takes. I mean, like, this is just my personal opinion. But I would say that I see many people that build products with what's currently available with the technology. Meaning, if I build something with AI, or if I build something that somehow leverages this technology, I shouldn't look to what's currently like doable with that. Because it's like, let's say that I don't know. Let's say that I'm hungry, and the cure to hungry is like either to meditate or to scream. Okay, so I'm not in the screaming business or like in the meditation business. I'm in the hungry business, and here's the same. We are not in the AI business, but we are in the vertical stuff, and we use AI to solve the problem. So that's the way I think we should approach this, even like from a technical perspective. I wouldn't go to think about, hey, let's build something very cool with the AI because it's the current, hot technology that is coming out right now. No, let's build something that people might want and use that solve real problems, and then understand how AI can scale this stuff to then build it in the future. That's where I think, for example, like if you see even like Jasper AI, for example, they have been very lucky. Jasper AI, by the way, for those who don't know, is like the very first ChatGPT digital marketing tool that came out literally 1 month before or 1 month after, I don't remember well, that ChatGPT went to market. And they raised like $1.5 billion, but they've been lucky, I think, because if they didn't, like if they launched like 2-3 months later, whoever used this stuff, like you cannot understand from a customer standpoint what's different between one or the other, And so that's where I think many startups are, struggling. But this is just, again, I'm not a millionaire. I have not exited any business. I'm just, diving in the space with you guys. And but that's where I think, and I see, based on the research, many people approaching it. I don't think, based on the history, that's the correct way. Then this stuff, which is like pretty logic. Every company here used to have proprietary data that have developed either through like users' interactions, like Facebook or like other platforms, or through AIs, vertical AIs that are, you know better than me for sure, like technically, but like that leverage the predictions and neural networks and other kind of AIs that are not LLMs. And this is another thing. All the .com companies, every single one of them, started from a very narrow, specific customer that was desperately needed of the product. Amazon with the books, I don't know, like even Facebook with the colleges, even though that wasn't that niche, but they leveraged that and then they scale up on all other things. Even Google was initially only in San Francisco and between like the tech community, but this is pretty like standard, knowledge. Then of course like intellectual property, and then this one is also interesting, which is network effects, especially like network effects that leverage offline advantages with online, like Amazon with the all the manufacturing chain and the whole supply chain and the whole like logistics side of the business. They cut off completely all the competition thanks to this specific thing at the very beginning of the business, when they started to shift from selling books to selling everything. As a consequence, if I see all these others like losers, I see also that these are the main things that brought them to failure. So starting from here, it was hard to sustain growth, meaning like if you are raising venture capitals, I don't know if you guys are raising any VC, but with VC is a mess because like it's hard because you have to basically like playing a speed kind of game which is kind of completely opposite from bootstrapping. where you basically have to go through rounds, and it's always hard to sustain growth in these cases, and a very, 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 very small percentage make it, and the vast majority don't. Then there is also the timing, because maybe like you are having like a product. For example, if you now are developing an agency for Vision Pro applications, which are like the Apple product, maybe the right timing, maybe not, but you have to be careful about that factor, because this factor is coming to play right now in that case. And in the .com, it's like that. Hey, there is AI. Huh?
Anyone who raised in 2021.
Yeah, here you go. Also, exactly. Because I think that, yeah, it's at the end of the day, guys. It's like we all know get it, I think. So it's not, there is not much to say here. And also, this one is interesting. Like, I've seen particularly like these MP communications, which lost their ability to grow because one of their partners, the main one, that was accountable for like 70% of their business, just screwed them over. And they're like, no, we close the partnership, you're done. And so like if you're building a product with, I don't know, for example, AI for dentists, okay, if you are dependent on only one office and only one partner, and he screw you over, you're done. And that's why I think we have to be very careful, because one of the most important and powerful things of AI is building on top of domain expertise, because it allows you to build vertical solutions to very specific problems in a very original way. So, and this is where I think there is the trap here for us, because if you like rely too much on someone else, and they screw you over, you are putting all the eggs in one basket. So then there are other obvious reasons, which are too niche of a market, business inefficiency at scale, and also like this one, which is pretty complex. I don't want to go over it, but is the failures due to stock market dynamics. Yeah.
There's like one detail on point number 4
Mm-hmm.
that I have a question on.
Yep.
Is technology very quickly becomes a commodity? Like once people know something is possible, there's a lot of engineers and smart people out there that can, once they know it's possible, they'll build it just by knowing it. Like the fact that you can like AWS, like host people's sites or host people's products. Now suddenly everybody's going to be start making like hosting companies. Same thing with OpenAI. The fact that OpenAI showed that language models are viable. Now open source models and plenty of other companies are like making LLMs, so there's like a path to commoditization with that. But the fact that like these successful companies like AWS and OpenAI stuff, in my opinion, is that they were first, and that they built trust. So I'm curious what you think on that. Not only is it building something new or new technology, but also the fact that you're first.
Oh, it's absolutely very important, and that's absolutely true. And in other slides, I also put that specific point. But the problem with this technology, I think, in being first, is that it has two problems, like one big advantage and one big problem. The big advantage is that if you are able to raise venture capital, like Jasper AI did, you have so much runway that you can attract so many smart people, and you have so many more shots than others, that eventually it's much easier for you to win. But the other way is that even if you are the first, like building, I don't know, let's say something that create images, okay? You are the first one building it, and OpenAI integrates something that does exactly the same, you are done. So it's like, I would state it that,
Midjourney is still alive and they were first.
yeah, they were first, but again, but the Midjourney has done something that other platforms don't, which is like community-based marketing. They developed a community, in fact, like it's a Discord channel at the end of the day. So either you develop to sustain advantage like network effects and community, like here, for example, or it's going to be very tough for you to compete, because if you focus on the technology and they're like, hey, nobody has made, I don't know, AI for runners, and tomorrow OpenAI does it, you're done, because you are focusing on the technology rather than, hey, let's find out something that people want, let's put them together. Like I would think first about the sustainability of the model, of the idea, and how to build the defensibility, like community, like network effects, leveraging data between users, and all this stuff, and then thinking about, okay, that makes sense or not. Does it answer your question? Yes? Okay. So again, it's just a reminder for myself. What are the best AI use cases to establish business competitive advantage? And here is where I see the connection between all this stuff and the AI market, which basically like learning from much successful entrepreneurs like Elon Musk, Reid Hoffman, or even Gary Vee, which is completely like different spaces. We can easily spot three main components of every single like idea that each one of them supported, which are historical patterns identification, like looking at the dot-com bubble and all this stuff. Human nature, because when if you listen Elon Musk, Reid Hoffman, but even like other people like Peter Thiel or stuff, like they always put out historical references and human nature references as two main drivers for all their decision making. And then there is another thing which is like disruption rate, but that is a little bit more particular because disruption is not something that you just click on and say, hey, let's build teletransportation, I don't know. I don't know if it's English anyways. No, it's a process. They've been working on OpenAI till like 2010, maybe earlier. I don't remember, but it's been like years in the making. So like here's where I see in a very easy way the pattern to build and start to build something in AI. So very first thing, I don't think building in AI is the correct mindset. No, building is the correct mindset, period. Like, because the first thing is that that we can see also like from all the histories, like, does it solve a problem that people are going to have in 5 years from now? Because if I'm building like an AI PDF summarizer now, in 5 years, are people gonna still need it? Probably not. So this is the very first step that even to myself, I'm very self-critical, I would say, but I think about that a lot. And then I think immediately about what. So what should I do when I identify like what problem people have? Should I go immediately to do AI? Should I go to like do, I don't know, spreadsheets or like consulting? Like, how do I turn around before considering technology and all the implication that it matters? Because if I go around and understand what do I have to do, I then more easily build defensibility for the business, because I'm focusing on the people and the problem. And then there is the how, which is like how the technology actually will work. So then like we can talk about, I don't know, LangChain, agents, SaaS products, all the kind of things that I know that you guys like much more than I do, but this is actually very interesting for me. And then there is the who for me, like for me that I'm, I'm more like the marketing guy, the business guy, is like, okay, who is the best person to do this, and who is the best person that might be taking advantage of it? And so these are like the very first steps that I do in, I don't know if you guys can you relate to that, or do you? Or okay. I speak? Okay, I keep going. Okay, so, and now please stop me, please. guys, here I wanna hear from you, because I've been to, I don't know, tens and tens of like AI events to learn, just to learn. Here in the US, in England, I've been in Italy, I've been pretty much Europe and the US to listen to experts, and I got just 4 points, because I like it to summarize the learnings, that AI LLMs lack at doing.
Do you see any of these limitations in 5 years based on the last thing you had up? I mean, are any of these really going to be constraints over a significant period of time?
That's a very good question, and I think some of them will stay and some of them will not. So, to answer your question, I think this one is the easiest one that we are gonna solve, because even now, if you go on ChatGPT or OpenAI, or if you look at the papers, again, please stop me. Okay, I'm not technical, but what I get from the general understanding is that these LLMs, we are feeding much data to them, and it's much easier for them to understand even like more complex databases. And so like I think this one is gonna be solved. I really have no idea how someone can solve this, because even though I'm not technical, it's pretty logical to me why this exists, because all these models are built on human knowledge and human inputs, which not always are correct. And so if I have to rely on LLMs to make the next discovery in healthcare, how can I possibly rely on that technology if sometimes they don't even know what they are talking about, because there is this phenomenon called hallucination. And it's not, again, like the way we interpret the system, is the system itself that's built like that. And so like either you rethink the whole thing and you solve that problem, or I don't know how OpenAI can fix this right now. But I'm not technical, so maybe you guys have some more ideas. Okay.
Curate the information going in would be another solution.
But like who? But then my question would be, who creates the information?
You curate. You make sure that only certain information goes in, so it doesn't go off the rails.
Okay.
Tell it not to make anything up on it to be 100%.
But like, do you see, for example, OpenAI doing that for all kind of like fields? For instance,
For medicine or law, something like law is a perfect example. You don't want it to make up a legal case, which will do if you
okay.
there's been instances where it's happened.
Okay.
And you can curate the data and just say, these are all the legal cases, only use these cases.
Okay. No, makes sense. Then yeah, maybe also like hallucination is gonna be done. But maybe also like dividi et impera is like another problem, like which is in the from Latin, but is that practically when it comes to very complex database structures, again, Alex, like stop me if you think it's wrong, but basically human help is still like fundamental when it comes to like oversight, intervention, and understanding complex nuances in terms of like interpretation also. So is that accurate? Or okay. And then this one is the one of my favorite, because it's actually my favorite, because it explicitly like fill the circle with the data that I presented like at the very beginning, which are these. So the fact that the more expert you are, the more you use LLMs, to me, it's kind of like an outcome of this limitation. Because if LLMs cannot have an abstract reasoning and cannot be theoretical, therefore means that we as human beings are the ones who are like still moving the needles. And so like maybe it's gonna be not like that in a few years, but the way I see AI right now is a tool that still needs human inputs. So
What's an example of like an abstract concept?
well, in my field, it's all about abstract concept, and then I will show you. But so, for example, if you have to think about communication, human communication, okay? Yes, they can understand dialect, like local languages, way to interact, emotions. They can detect those things, but can really they make a reasoning out of it? Understanding like the concept of, if I say to the LLM, hey, make a story which is sad for a Chinese person, is that story relatable enough to the person the way it is if it was like done by a person? Like from a communication standpoint, it is?
It sounds like you're trying to capture culture and values
Yes.
to a certain group of people, and that being an example of abstract.
Yeah, that it might be. The way I see it, it
As a
might
good
be.
example, like I don't know if it's still the case, but there at least a few months ago, there's a logic problem that kind of highlights how they can't solve abstract reasoning, which is if you ask it, um, who is Tom Hanks's mother, it will give you the name of his mother, but then if you ask who is that person's son, it can't name Tom Hanks. Like it can't do A equals B, B equals C, so A equals C. It can't do that equation.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if you've heard.
There's actually another like at least that I've heard like a famous example. It's like what gender will the first female president be?
They can't
And
answer.
then it's like, oh, gender shouldn't be a factor.
That might be a different thing, but like I think the logic part, it doesn't, because it's just predicting words, it doesn't actually make connections logically the way that a human brain would. So I think maybe that might be.
The only issue I have with like abstract reasoning is like saying something like, hey, can you make this email sound more happy? To me, that would qualify as like something that's abstract reasoning. Understand the semantics of like what I'm trying to say in an email and make it happier. Like that requires a level of like abstract reasoning. But then the example like cultural values or like a math or a logic problem is like a different section of abstract reasoning. So I feel like this is like an umbrella term, then we're not like segmenting it more coarsely. If that makes sense.
I'll give you one where it failed. We would say, limit this to 160 characters, and OpenAI just struggles with it so much.
You can use them to structure data.
I mean, I'm sure I'm not saying there's no way around it. I'm saying just basically
Yeah.
use a, you say, okay, limit to 160 characters, and you get, 500. And
Yeah, I agree.
These are like examples I think of like you can definitely point out a million use cases that fall under the abstract reasoning that like don't work, but then there's probably like a dozen others that like do work.
it's certainly
Under
emotional.
abstract
It
reasoning.
knows
Mhm.
what emotion, what a happy book is or a sad book is.
Like it can even do like certain like simple math. Like offer me a simple like HTML HTML p tag or something like this. That's a layout, and that's pretty abstract.
I've also had it work on some of my LinkedIn messages at times, make it sound more professional, or that's pretty abstract as well.
Yeah.
But in some concepts, yeah, they kind of make sense.
I agree with you all. The only thing that I would maybe think about as well is like when we think about something abstract, to me is like understanding what an implication of something can be. So for example, like let's say that tomorrow there is a tsunami and I don't know, like half of Florida is done. And I don't know, I'm sorry, like I'm really throwing bad examples, but you as an LLM, are you able to feel, think, and extrapolate what's in the mind of people there in that moment at the same level that people can? That's one of the questions. But now I have exaggerated, but put it in like a very little thing. It's the same of like understanding the culture, what an event implicates on the environment. I think that this stuff, I don't know, I'm using it a lot on social media. It's all about that dynamics, understanding the culture, the values, the best way to communicate a thing, what words to use, what words implicate the most attention-grabbing power, I would say, in the eye of the user. And in this stuff, it's a mess. I'm telling you, like, there is no way now LLMs are able to do that. Like, zero. Like, I have tried everything, Claude, Bard, ChatGPT-4, like agents, even like all the tools out there. There is nothing that can fix this kind of things, I would say. But this is from me that I'm trying stuff. But again, I'm not able and capable to say this is not gonna be solved in like 5 years. I don't know.
I think it's going to be solved a lot sooner than that. A year ago, I was showing my father, who had just gave me a list of his latest health problems, how what ChatGPT is, and we were typing it in, and it was giving recommendations about the health problems. He says, "This is just the internet." I said, "No, it isn't." And I will prove it to you. And I said to ChatGPT, "All right. Well, it is over the internet, but it is not the function of the internet. Write a poem about everything we just discussed." And it put together a multi-verse, perfectly rhymed poem that drew in each of the health conditions and an overall structure of health and happiness and exercise and long life. And at the end, he looked at it, he said, "That's really disturbing and scary." But that
makes sense.
an early iteration of ChatGPT, and poetry is abstraction. And I think it's a good exercise to see where the technology is.
But I would agree it doesn't think.
I don't think it was thinking, but
It doesn't think.
Yeah.
So when everyone's talking about it's kind of abstract and it knows what a sad poem is, and knows how to rhyme, and knows these are. But I don't think anyone in this room would say it thinks at this point. That they've used it a lot, but it's thinking about things. It has its own opinions.
I don't think it ever has second thoughts.
No.
Me neither.
An indication that it's thinking.
Also, everybody anthropomorphizes it.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, it sounds like we're just kind of hung up on the definition of abstract reasoning, probably.
Yeah, maybe I have to be better at coming up to the exact.
It's a big term, so I think.
No,
can
it is.
interpret
It is.
in a lot of ways.
It is. But the way I was also interpreting it is that because I see all the use cases now, the more creative you are, the better you can get out of ChatGPT. That's at least my initial understanding in any field, which is like computers, like programming, social media, designing, anything. The more creative you are, the more ChatGPT is like kind of your best friend. But like, this is a question actually. Are not all these LLMs based on very complex probabilistic mechanisms and calculations based on both inputs and structures of transformers and like the way they are structured, meaning that they are not really creative, but they are more like predicting, or like if I have a pool, basically like you were telling that the last time about the temperature. Like if I have I don't know, like a container which is like that big, and I like increase the temperature, the container is gonna be that big, and you can take data points that are farther from the actual input of the user, right? And so like it means to me that it's not really able to think or to be creative because there are still boundaries there.
What is
And-
interesting, right? It's just that what we're seeing now is the more data that we put in, the more textual data that we put in, the better it seems to get, right? We put in more GPU clusters, all of this, and it seems to be getting more and more accurate over time. So it's one of those things where it seems interesting that with very simple mechanisms, we're able to get such complexity from it. So the question really is, right? Over time, how intelligent it's going to get, how creative is it going to get? Maybe it's not there now, but over time, it'll be really fascinating to see. I mean, we probably can't get away from that probabilistic nature, but then there's other tools that we can utilize at the end of it, right? A calculation, database check. It's just very fascinating.
And so I reframe the question that you asked me. What do you think among like these is gonna last more?
Structured data,
Structured data.
for sure. Like making
but like for an LLM, if it's something that you can like easily write down and express. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It does. It's interesting. Okay. Anyways, no, I get it. I get it. I don't know. We are throwing like the coin here because nobody knows. Like not even I think in OpenAI they can predict about
Yeah, I was going to say, I totally agree with you too. You know, the more proficient you are, the better the AI systems are going to be for you. Because, you know, we can look at it and we can say, oh, this looks correct. Oh, we can help guide it towards the right answer. It's kind of like you could be a software engineering manager and the LLM could be the software engineer. And so you can say, oh, well, that might not be the right way. Let's put it more towards this direction or get a better result from the LLM. And if you're in the social media field, you can do the same thing, right? Maybe it's that the tweet doesn't have the right tone. Can you try to add it a little bit more flavor to it in the sense of persuasion and being very proficient in your field, you're going to be able to get better results. Needless to say, of course, if you're on the younger or the more junior end, you're going to be able to learn to a much greater degree from LLMs too. So, total agreement.
But I got a question on this point. Like, if I am the software engineer, let's say I'm a software engineer, and I direction like the LLM towards a path of like improvement thanks to my human input, and then things change in my field. Like in social media is like the same. So for example, what worked 4 years ago doesn't work now, and will probably not work in 6 months. So the LLM will still need in 6 months from now my input, because the environment and the context, values, culture, and stuff, are not predicted by these machines. That's what I get, but maybe I'm wrong, totally.
I don't know about that. I think like they can see what is working on social media. You can give them documentation for programming and like people like for example, if you're developing a Apple app or something, there's agents where they just upload all the documentation from Apple and then you just that's always being updated. So I don't know. I think
No, I agree with you, but that's the point. Maybe I did.
Program what are the 5 most trending
Yeah.
news stories of the last month, and use those in what you're writing. Right? If you were to, I mean, again, you're giving it some instruction, you're doing the prompt, but
Yeah.
it sounds like it's something that could certainly go to the internet, find that data, and be able to incorporate that if you prompt it correctly.
Do you think they are gonna be able to do that without me inputting anything? Because the problem, like the whole thing is, so like just, hey, I'm a social media manager. Give me 5 ideas. This is me. Period.
imagine like Grok, which has all the tweets that are in real time coming out. Like, I don't see any reason why in a couple of years Grok won't be like the best profile on Twitter. Like,
I agree with you.
like, why wouldn't it be? 'Cause
I agree with you. Yeah, yeah.
it'll know what works, and so it's
Gonna give the hottest takes.
yeah, like why wouldn't it? So I don't know.
It'll be straight on the
I think it's moving towards being able to.
It'll just be itself talking to itself, though.
Yeah.
Anyway, I agree with you, but I can debate, but because at a certain point though, like if you project 2 years from now with that play, Grok has all the tweets, people get bored. People don't want it. Like things change. Like what I mean is like things always change, and what people like and what people want change. So
Have you seen the AI influencers that are?
yeah, but wait. You know what I think about it? It's like it's a new thing. If there are 1 million AI influencers right now, nobody would give a
But people don't.
sorry,
People
like
don't
nothing.
know that they're AI when they're engaging. Like there's people who engage without knowing.
That's true. But if you look at the AI influencers, sorry, they are all beautiful girls. Let's put it this way, or people that are just in images or something. If you think about AI avatars for me is like very fascinating, but people, when they consume social media, I think we are moving towards that direction 100%, and I think it's gonna happen. But at the other spectrum, I don't think it's gonna be the end, and I think that the longer need of the humans is gonna always be human connection. And so that's why I'm like, okay, maybe there is avatars, maybe like the technology, I don't know, they can make me fly, whatever, but still I believe that it's gonna be me on camera, and that me being on camera is going to be 100 times more effective than you doing 30 videos with avatars. But that's just my own opinion, and maybe I'm completely wrong because I know that technology is crazy. But we will see. We will see. So now I'm going into like dangerous zones. but here's what I'm finding, and this is actually very interesting based on the data that we showed before and what we are talking about now.
Disconnected.
Oh, okay. Which is, now there is a research that I wanted to check out with you, but I'm going to take only the abstract, which is from Harvard. Anyway, basically, without going into very much details, the researchers here have done a study on a group of consultants, like 800 some kind of, and they wanted to try to understand how AI makes more or less productive. And so they gave these consultants like half they gave AI and half they didn't use AI to accomplish specific tasks. And I'm simplifying. What they found is that for basic tasks, meaning like text, plain text, or like content creation, but like always about texting and all other elementary, I would say, things. If you have AI, you 100% outperforms anyone else who doesn't, and not only people that are less expert in a particular thing are equally performing the ones that are more expert in the thing. But if we analyze more concrete and problematic things that require critical thinking and more abstract reasoning in terms of like problem solving, which are like lateral thinking, like approaching problems from different angles, if you are using AI and you are expert in that field, actually AI makes you perform 20% worse. And which is misleading because these articles here are all about the same research. So how is possible like that one said, the Business Insider says, OpenAI's ChatGPT can actually make workers perform worse. Okay. ChatGPT can boost or tank employee performance. Nice. Consultants using AI do better. Wait a minute. What am I missing here? You know? And so like all these three things are about this specific study, and the truth is that yes, it makes you perform better, but it has to be contextualized. And so this is one of like the myths, I would say, because everyone is like, hey, AI boosts productivity by 9%. Yes, but let's talk about it. Then, this is my favorite bald guy. Now, as for marketers, I know this is Neil Patel, which is like the most well-known personality, I think, one of the most well-known personalities in marketing. And this is a video that I think is very interesting for content creation. Even though I have some takes on it, but I don't know if
AI-generated ads versus human-generated ads.
I don't know if you guys listen. Wait.
We ran ads on
A second.
Facebook for 20.
Can you listen? Okay. Okay. So basically,
28 different businesses for this experiment. For all 28 businesses, we had multiple ad sets. Between all of them, we spent $7,049,204.24 over 30 days. Keep in mind, the businesses had different conversion touch points. Some were email addresses, some were purchases, and some were even leads. For the creatives, we used both humans and AI. We were able to produce 1,709 variations by humans. And with AI, we had 4,041 variations. Just like with any ads, you remove the bottom performing variations and you keep adding more creatives in the mix. The end result, human-generated creatives outperformed AI-generated creatives 68.3% of the time. And the conversion rate from human-generated ads was also higher. We didn't stop there. We took the winning variations created by humans and had AI create multiple variations of them. With the new campaigns, we took the winning human version versus the modified AI variations. And we found that AI won 75.7% of the time. There was a small lift in conversions as well. Moral of the story, AI and humans can produce produce creatives that convert. A human may be more creative, at least for now, but if you have AI assistants, you will see your performance.
So what I take away from this video, as of now, is I agree with his conclusion, but I would add that automation, as we know it, in the front end for marketing purposes, is not as effective as human front end. Meaning that he used AI in the back end of like understanding on top of human creativity what kind of like changes can be made on the ad creatives to perform better. And it's kind of the same for now for videos. Meaning, if you generate a video on ChatGPT, even though it's gonna be 100 times better than now, I still believe that it's gonna be, at least for, I don't know, quite a while, less effective than if you do it, because of this thing. While if you do it and you ask ChatGPT to make 100 variations of it, then it's gonna be effective. But you are using AI on top of creativity and not AI instead of your creativity. So that's actually like something we were talking about before. But this was very interesting. And this is like another thing that, particularly these days, I'm paying close attention to, which is GPT Store. You know, like I don't know if you are you familiar with GPT Store? Sorry, of course you are, but I just wanted to make sure. And here's another thing, because I like the hype behind GPT Store, but what I believe is that when everyone is able to build anything, I think this is only going to benefit whoever is on top already, because they already have distribution cell traffic like in their own pocket, I would say. And so they can cut off everyone else. And this is the easiest way, I think, to get disrupted. Because if I see this and this is, again, like, this is my personal opinion. Please, I'm here to debate and to also like learn from your perspective. But what I believe from this is from yesterday. I can see like 3 big companies that this is like the top GPTs as of today on the GPT Store, the most used ones. And I can see all the others that accomplish very specific tasks, but all these tasks can somehow like be disrupted or I know, like shifted because they rely on current technology. Meaning, Humanizer Pro, who knows that in 5 years we're gonna still need this? I don't, personally, because maybe like it's gonna be better. Who knows that we're gonna still like need Write for Me? Who knows like PDF Summarizer? Yes, these are very useful tools now. And this is actually good for them because they can, if they leverage correctly, build communities and traffic on other channels, not here, to build something defensible. While these 3 players, I believe, are only in a very good position because they are on top of their industries. And yes, maybe tomorrow we will not need Canva, but who cares? It's not their core business, first of all. This is much more like a trial, like Adidas buying lands in the metaverse or something, and so like they don't lose anything, but still they position themselves as on top, and they are very defensible. So I think that they are all risking here, and that's why I think that GPT Store is in reality like a way for OpenAI to build AGI, because if you think about all the inputs that we are feeding the machines, it's all about our knowledge. But I don't see how this is sustainable for me or anyone else who is starting now. Because this is, I think, very easy to disrupt. Like with the GPT Store, OpenAI cut off like 80% of AI startups because of this. And I think it can happen the same in the GPT Store. Because it's the same kind of concept, like. And so the way I feel about it is, to me, they are kind of like NFTs. meaning they are kind of proof of concept of what it can become, but they're not the main use of the technology that we will see either on GPT Store or on OpenAI in general. So I think, yes, I mean, I use pretty much this one every single day, this one every time. I use sometimes Canva. They're amazing. But who knows if they're going to stick around for like 2 years from now, you know? And that's why also like, this is again, my personal opinion, controversial. Why I believe like that my GPT Store might not be the new App Store. First, if I look at Apple, I look at hardware and I look at defensibility and barriers of entry. Meaning that if I have the iPhone or if I have Vision Pro, like this is an entire ecosystem that I'm building on top of an hardware, which is much, much more difficult to attack rather than software. Then there is brand loyalty. Now if I have to go and accomplish a task with AI, I don't care if I use OpenAI or Bard or whatever, but I care if I use Windows or Mac. Nobody can touch my Mac, you know, because I'm loyal to the brand. And this is something that is not there right now. And also, like, this is probably the other reason why. If I have to see the company mission of OpenAI, they want to build AGI. They don't care about anything else. They want to be the first to build AGI. And the GPT Store, to me, is, even though I'm not technical, I can, you know, somehow understand, like you guys, much better. But anyway, at a very superficial level, what's going on? If I feed the machine with my knowledge, with my domain expertise, and the machine become better, I think they are moving towards that mission. But who cares and who knows if and when they are going to accomplish it? Like they are gonna still be GPT stores, you know, available to people. And this is also something that reflects their current behavior because, hey, we were gonna share revenue with anyone who is building a GPT. How much? How? When? Who knows? You know, like to me, everything is in the startup kind of thinking, which is perfectly aligned with what they are doing. But I don't know. I believe that basically they are throwing something at us, which all of us want because this is a very cool opportunity and there is a lot of hype around it. But at the same time, I would think completely in a different way. But this is just my opinion about it and the way I feel on this overall thing. Yeah.
The only counter, like I'm also pessimist about the GPT store. The only counter I would give you is, this is something I don't know how to counter.
Go ahead, please.
A use case that I've heard that's pretty compelling is being able to talk to an agent in the GPT store, say the Uber bot. Take me home, please.
Sorry.
The GPT store, and let's say that there's an Uber bot. I can say, take me home, and an Uber will show up, opposed to me having to do 5 different clicks within an app. Sort of use GPT store as just a natural language interface, you could call it, to the desired thing that I want. That's the only like upside that I don't think has a counter, unless.
No. I agree with you. But at the same time, sorry.
I was gonna just say that thing, what was that thing that came out recently, the rabbit or whatever, like
Yep.
now what that is, like it's just you just tell it and task and but I don't know if that uses like OpenAI or something.
No, they made their own.
They made their own.
I believe they use Perplexity for search within partners with them.
Okay.
Yeah.
I agree with you, by the way, now that I'm thinking about it. But
Because any of the GPT store agents, they can call out to APIs.
I agree.
It's still like, I don't think it's the ideal way to develop agents. I would do it very differently
Yeah.
than the way
No.
GPT store would program an agent. How you program an agent through the GPT store.
How would you approach it?
The way they do it is you just provide open API spec, and you just GPT just go like, go to town. I think there
Okay, yeah.
have like very specific sort of commands that again are just layups for the LLMs, like and do like several layers of analysis before just instead of just saying like, here's the spec, here's the thing they typed, go to town GPT. That's effectively what GPT Store is. That's
Yeah.
what effectively these agents are. I think there's like some nuance to how people want to use. Like if I say like I want a flight to Denver or something like this, I don't want it to just like buy the first ticket that's like $2,000 or something that's not to my benefit. There should be like maybe a few levels of indirection when it comes to like a purchase like that. But that's not how GPT Store like kind of directly works right now, at least.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you. I mean, like, in that sense, I do think that there are gonna be winners out of it, 100%. And these use cases are actually like something that I can really much agree on. The thing is, how many of these winners are people like me and you? Why cannot Uber make an agent that calls Uber? Like, why me or you like can make it? Like, we likely cannot, you know? Like, in the sense that maybe we can, but they still have the keys of the house. You know what I mean? And so, like,
The only like way you win is just accessibility at that point. That's the only win for the consumer.
Mhm.
But there's the obvious upside for the other companies as well is accessibility.
Yeah.
more people using Uber or Google Flights or whatever other application, but you still have to like bring your own products.
Yeah, to the stuff. I agree.
But the agents finally wouldn't be like made by Apple. I mean, finally, I think that the best way to create an agent and have an agent in your pocket. I mean, Rabbit is trending right now.
Yeah.
But I finally think that everything will get here.
No, I agree, but I don't think. I think it's the evolution of this stuff, but it's a different application. In fact, like they have to develop the like Rabbit. You're talking about that. Oh yeah. I like very much the concept. This is again my personal opinion. I like it a lot, but with the current state of technology, it's tough. I mean, it's very hard for someone to adopt this kind of like apparel at the scale of like Apple or phones because these are brands first, because they have developed such big brands that it's very tough to change user behavior. In fact, I would argue that debate that this is the right approach in terms of like when you see like the biggest disruptions, they usually meet the users first. The way like GPT or ChatGPT why we are here today is because for the first time in history they allowed people like me that don't know anything about it to access AI in a very user-friendly way. But I haven't changed my behavior from the day to night like that. For me at the beginning was like Google conceptually, you know, and so I was like, okay, maybe I go there, and then gradually I went there, you know. And so I like the concept, but I think it requires, and I think, I mean, maybe they're winning, they will win Rabbit like the hardware. But at the same time, I don't see how people don't want to use applications and, you know, manually type into stuff because of like the engagement that you get out of the phone. In fact, like you are on the phone because you are engaged. You want to be on the phone. You want to. And the fact that you want to tells me that, okay, there is an issue with the niche that don't want to be on the phone that much, but also the vast majority of people still want the product so bad. And there is such a big ecosystem around it that it's gonna be very hard, at least for immediately getting a mass adoption. I think it can go there, but I don't know. This is just my take again. But I don't see like something like ChatGPT where in 2 days they reach 2 million, 200 million users, whatever they have done. I think it's gonna take 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, you know. Maybe, I don't know. I just, what do you think?
I think that Rabbit is pretty attractive.
I agree with you though.
As I think, I mean,
but would you use it instead of your phone? Because I'm thinking about when in the 24 hours that you are living every day, when you can.
I think that it will be like implemented on the iOS updates, especially in beta. So
Ah, okay.
so
You go.
you keep your phone and you open you will just go. But I don't know when.
No, I agree. Yeah, that's a much more. If they do like that, Rabbit is screwed in the sense that, as we were talking about before, distribution, network effects, like community, it's very tough to break into that ecosystem, if something works. So,
Also a lot of like integration.
yeah.
Like why hasn't Apple made it yet? Seems like we're all thinking about it. Hey, take me home. Say that to your iPhone. Why hasn't Apple like done it yet? It's probably a really hard thing for them to build.
Why hasn't Apple built the AI?
Why haven't they built something where I can just speak with my phone, take me home, and just call Uber and just knows where like your
Well,
location?
Zoom was mentioning the other day, remember, that Apple has been the biggest acquirer of AI companies actually the past couple of years.
Yeah,
They're about to release something right in June.
well, there's a lot of rumors around like what this next update in June, and there's a lot of rumors that it's going to be. They say the biggest update they've done for iOS, potentially ever, but since at least in the last 10 years. And so it's like they bought more AI startups than Meta, Google, any of these, and they've just been very quiet about it. They've been building internally LLMs, and yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But I guess the point is what you guys have been saying too is like it's not. I don't see how any of it's defensible. It's like right now it's OpenAI, but like the analogy I liked a lot, which is someone who's in this space mentioned to me was they talked about the company that invented refrigeration, and like refrigeration was this massive technology shift, but the companies that benefited from it were not. It was not the refrigeration inventor. It was Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola was able to suddenly put their product all over the place and keep it cold, and customers can have cold Coca-Cola, and that helped them really blow up. Um, so it wasn't the refrigeration, and I think a lot of these companies like OpenAI are doing really important work, but like to your point about like people holding the phone or whatever, it's like I just think at the end of the day it's just an API, and like everyone's making LLMs, they're all kind of racing to the top. It's like they're interchangeable at some point.
They're becoming commodities.
And like the people who were doing the shortcut on with the new iPhone with the action button, people like made a shortcut where it does exactly what Rapid does. It's like you just press your button,
No.
it's the exact same. They're all using the same API. That's like
What's
Yeah.
the difference between like saying like here's the list of 20 actions you can perform, and then here's this really weird thought I'm thinking about that I want to do, and having an LLM be able to infer like, okay, you're probably talking about this app. Okay, let me go in there and see now what function I can do in there that's related to your to your query. Like one takes a lot of engineering time, and the other doesn't.
The 1,200 tech companies are all going to know this end of their software this year too. I mean, it's all of them are going to have it in 2024. It might be OpenAI's, it might be their own, they might be using Llama. It doesn't really matter which one they're using, but they're all going to have this built into their tech stack. I mean, I can't imagine them not having it this year. Maybe 10% don't.
I agree. I very much agree. Yeah, so but I think we can go over this. I mean, like, it's. I wanted to see from before, like we were talking about what Gen AI might lack right now to do, and then there is, of course, like the best use cases, but we have talked about them pretty much all the time. And yeah, so to recap a little bit more about what we have said, but I think all of the things that you guys said are pretty much aligned also like with my thought, in the terms that I think that first mover advantage is an advantage, but only with specific technological shifts in this exact same moment they happen, like Jasper AI, we were mentioning that before actually. Then the other thing that I see very much is that if human touch or communication, I would reframe it saying interaction, is the product, I think that AI should be in the backend and not in the customer interface, meaning like I'm talking about all the community-based businesses even like school.com, which is now hyping up a little bit because Alex Ramosi invested in it, which is a big known entrepreneur. But and even like AI products that have human interaction, I think they're gonna face a lot of issues. Like there is this startup in Europe, I don't know if, yeah, this is called the Replica AI. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it. Basically, this startup, you give this AI a bunch of information about, I don't know, your brother, your mother, your father, or someone who passed away, and you can interact with that person. They got sued for $50 million or something, like something crazy, because when they found out that people were so much addicted to this product to talk with their lost father, they sued because they told the company, who are you to take off my stuff, like my father, from my hands? And the reason behind it, why they took it off, was like because they spotted, I think, 2 or 3 cases of suicide because of loneliness. So they use this product, and that's I'm connecting here. They use the AI to solve loneliness through this technology called Replica AI. But actually, if apparently like the need was that, it got worse. It got worse. And they were constrained to shut down from the lawyers. And even when they did, they got sued because people were so much addicted to it that like it's a mess, it's like crazy, you know? But that's like, okay, I see that AIs are freaking addictive and there is loneliness in this country, in this world, but again, I think about the very, you know, deep roots of things, and I think that with all these AIs, all this hype of technology, human connection and human touch is gonna be the thing most valuable that you can find around. That's what I think, and so that's what I think companies should focus on. Then also like this one, unique and defensible ways to extract data. I mean, if you own, I don't know, a company that does a thing that nobody else does, and you can extract this data, I think that if you use this data to implement and feed an LLM, then you have a competitive advantage or a first mover advantage, but it's thanks to I would say, a unique data set more than other things. Then again, community-based businesses. And then I like this video very much, which is something that I want to play here, which is from an entrepreneur that I know. He's building like he's in the creator space. He's building a platform that connects brand with creators. The platform name is Brand Meets Creators. And he says something that to me is very interesting for us that are building in the space, which is this. And this has made me reflect a lot, but I like it where it's going with it. Wait, let me see.
Very competitive space. Most of our competitors have raised 10, 20, 30 million dollars. So how can I compete with them, right? How are we continuing to grow? How are we doing well in a space that's so competitive, that has so much more money than us, right? I'm going to get into why we're competing right now, why we're doing a great job. The second reason why I think so many people are pointing you towards no-code SaaS, potentially even pointing at their own success that they've had with no-code SaaS, most of the time, those people, really the key differentiator is they've had an audience, right? That was their advantage going into it. They had a big audience that they could leverage, and they built a no-code SaaS. They sold that software to their audience. If that is the case, if you have a large audience, then it probably is a good strategy for you, right? For someone that doesn't have an audience, though, I think it's going to be a terrible, terrible, terrible route to go. Now, why do I think building a software is not right for most people? And why do I think you're being led down the wrong path? First of all, a lot of people will point to software now being democratized, right? That's this like big new term right now, with tools like Bubble, where you don't need to pay hundreds and thousands of dollars to get your software off the ground, right? For example, Brains Creators, our platform was built with no-code tools, right? Whereas maybe 5, 10 years ago, it would have cost us a few $100,000 to get that platform made. Now it only costs 10, 20, 50 grand to build a similar platform like that, right? So the cost to get into it is much lower, and it's getting lower and lower, literally every single day. It's getting easier and easier to build these things. There's more resources. Right now, there's like, you can go to ChatGPT, and ChatGPT can literally code for you. It can literally build things for you, and that's just advancing so quickly right now. And so the cost, the barrier to entry is getting lower and lower and lower, which is why a lot of people are telling you to get into it. But that same logic, that same reasoning, is why I believe you actually should not get into it with the business model that everyone is preaching. So when the barrier of entry becomes lower, there's going to be more competition, right? There's going to be more people launching these softwares. It's going to be easier and easier to launch these softwares. For example, I don't know if you're familiar with Chamath. He's from the All In podcast. Super smart guy. Just launched a company recently. It's called 8090. And the whole purpose of this company is to take enterprise softwares that are out there, to basically replicate them, or at least 80% of their feature set, and sell them at a 90% discount. Because it's so much easier to build these things now, right? And a lot of the softwares out there that are being sold for, I don't know, a few $100s a month, really the cost to create those and the cost to maintain those is so low that those can be sold for a fraction of the price, right? Like you said, a 90% discount. And this is going to continue to trend towards zero, right? That price point is going to keep going down and down and down and down. So when you see something that's trending towards zero, the right chess move, in my mind, is to go directly towards zero. Right?
Now, he's talking about no code, which is something that we are not talking and consider right now. But I can see easily the parallelism with AI, like very easily. Meaning, when everyone can build something, and is everything going to zero? Like, if you're building an AI product right now, probably the price point that you are starting from is much, much closer to zero rather than other price points, because there are already softwares and things that solve this problem at a higher standpoint. And so like you wanna not compete on price, but you wanna use price as a leverage to start with other factors to build traffic. Meaning that I see now, and that's where I'm going also like with my own product, but I will tell you later, but I see that with AI, you should go directly towards zero as much as possible, because then people are more incentivized to use your product, and if your product is good, then you can have audience, attention, and users, and this thing is much more valuable than money for me right now. Like having traffic and having a distribution is much, much, much better than having like people that pay the product for now, like few users, that you cannot eventually leverage in the future because someone else is coming for you. So that's where I think the opportunity lies for all these kind of AI tools. And that's also, by the way, something that if you think that ChatGPT costs $20, like it's crazy, like how can I charge $500 for my AI product, and then yeah, unique knowledge. So I think that AI is very cool for service-based businesses. It's amazing actually, because it lowers the cost down if you have processes in the backend. And if you have a unique knowledge in a specific domain, I think that AI is your best friend, and you should probably build a company on top of this expertise, because if leveraged correctly, you can build something that truly makes a difference in the long run though. And also like early wins, because I don't see, like, if you think about Steve Jobs, sorry, I'm jumping around, but I want to make a point. If you think about Steve Jobs, the way he built the iPhone is like he's observing the people, and then he's giving them a tool which is far, far away from everyone else as expected. But if you think about all the products in the dot-com bubble and all the other companies that have had success through software, they start with the person rather than the technology. Meaning, if I build the technology later on, and if I start to give people and to test what they want, then I can build the technology because I already tested it and already like confirmed by gut feeling, which leads to early wins. And these early wins, I think that are crucial to build the so-called distribution and then MVP and then all the other stuff. But I think that companies that successfully have these early wins, if they go fast, I think they have a chance to basically go. Now,